do something a little bit different. I asked on Twitter a couple of weeks ago whether people would like to see a record tour, and although it's probably not as popular as fashion or beauty, I thought it'd be quite fun to talk you through some of my favourite records at the moment. I'm going to probably do 5 of my favourites today, see how it goes down, and then if it's alright, then maybe I'll do a couple more in a little part of a little series, because I like talking about music, and a few of you noticed in a favourites video that I had quite a few records, so I thought I'd talk you through some of my favourites or my most listened, and then let's go from there. So without further ado, let's go!
Once half 2 years have gone now, but I can't relate to the...
So the first record I want to talk about is this one, which is the Last Shadow Puppets' Age of the Understatement, and this is probably one of my favourite records ever. I first listened to Last Shadow Puppets maybe, I think it was 2007 when they first released their debut, and I was obsessed with it. I love Miles Kane, I love Alex Turner, and it to me kind of was the complete soundtrack to my GCSE years. I think I even referenced one of the lyrics in an essay I did for English, because I loved it so much, and it's one record that I've just listened to again and again, and it never ever gets old to me. My favourite songs on it that I definitely recommend you listen to are The Meeting Place, Age of the Understatement, My Mistakes Made for You, and Time Has Come Again. I've tried to pick a few and make it a bit more concise. Maybe I'll make a playlist at the end, but there's my favourite songs. It's such an easy listening record. It's kind of very cinematic. It's unlike anything else I've really listened to. It very much encapsulates both of their sounds, which is amazing. And I'm finally seeing them this year after maybe however many years wait. I feel so excited to see them, but I had to include that because it's been one record that I don't think will ever get old, and it's unlike anything that's ever been released around that time. And yeah, enough of me waxing lyrical about that, and on to the next one. Next record that I think has to be kind of on everyone's kind of top record list is obviously Fleetwood Mac, Rumours. Joe and I were just talking about this, and it's essentially a record filled with just great singles. Like every single track is amazing. Like I was looking and I was like, what are my favourite songs? And I was like, oh, Songbird, The Chain, they're going back again, but there's so many. It's just one of those records you can just completely play through and then be like, oh, I love this. Like, even if you're not really a Fleetwood Mac fan, I think it's one of those records that you'll just recognise songs, and they're just all good, and they're just, I don't know, I'm not really good at this. I'm not very good at describing songs that I like apart from saying how great they are, but it's just a really classic album, and it's one that I've had, I think Joe got this to me ages ago, and it's just one that is great to just play whether you're working, whether you're on the train. It's kind of got a song for every scenario, if that makes sense. But yeah, I had to include that. Hopefully more of my reviews will be a bit more concise and adventurous with my words. It's not just that's great, but yeah, great album. It's obviously a great album. It's a legendary album. My third favourite at the moment, or kind of over a period of time, is Parquet Court's Light Up Gold. I was introduced to this band maybe a couple of years ago, I think in 2013. Joe and I saw them in Brighton on Valentine's Day, and it was such an amazing gig, and since then I've kind of been listening to them on and off consistently because they are such a cool band. They're American, and I suppose their sound is lots of guitar, it's quite raw, and a lot of the songs on the record are very short and sharp and concise. It's kind of very much to the point. Joe and I were saying it's quite political in some ways. It kind of gives you a good idea of what it's like growing up in parts of America. It's just a really cool album, and the songs don't drag out. It's not, you don't have to put too much thought into it. It's just kind of a really, I don't know, fun isn't the right word, but it's just a really good raw album with lots of edge, which sounds really corny. But yeah, I really recommend it. One of my favourite songs on it is Stone and Starving and Donuts Only, but Careers in Combat. There's so many, but it's just a really cool album, worth a listen. The fourth record I'm going to mention today is the English Riviera by Metronomy. This is a copy I picked up at their in-store they did when this was released in Rough Trade, and I got it signed because I'm a bit of a fangirl, admittedly, but it is one of my favourite albums of all time. I love it so much. It kind of came out during a time where there was so much going on in my life that was a bit up and down, and I just remember when it all kind of started getting a bit better, this was the album that kind of was the soundtrack to that almost, and I just really wanted to visit the English Riviera as well. I was like, this is such a good album. But again, it's one of those albums that every single song is amazing, and it's just one you can just put on and listen the whole way through. There's no skip songs that you think, okay, now on to the next, and it's just amazing. I don't need to kind of break down what Metronomy are like as a band, because I'm pretty sure everyone knows them, but if you don't know them, definitely go and give them a listen, because they've got so many good tracks and albums that you can really get stuck into. Because I almost feel jealous if you haven't already listened to them, because you're gonna be enlightened. So the songs I really recommend listening to on this album, although every single one is really worth listening to, are probably The Bay, Everything Goes My Way and Corin, but I definitely recommend listening to all of them because it's such a good record. But this is one of my favourite albums, and I really wanted to include this in my first video because, yeah. Okay, so the last album I really want to talk about is The Flying Club Cup by Beirut. This is one of the first Beirut records I ever listened to. I bought it, I bought it quite recently, but I first listened to it when I was growing up because this album's nearly, I think it's around 10 years old. It's a really old record, well, old in the news side of things, but the reason I love Beirut is because they're slightly different to a lot of things out there. They are folky and slightly electronic if you look at their more recent stuff. But this album is really French inspired. You have lots of accordion, trumpets and strings, which is really nice. It's quite theatrical in a way, which I think offers something slightly different to other kind of folk acts out there. Zach Condon is an amazing frontman. He's got such a beautiful voice. But if you also listen to some of their more recent stuff, they do a lot more electronic. The new album, No No No, is definitely slightly more pop based. So there's definitely something for everyone in their kind of discography. I think I muddled that word up a bit, but yeah, in their kind of selection of records, so you can definitely seek something from everyone. But this is one of my favourite albums of theirs. It's really summery, which is great for the season, and I definitely recommend giving it a listen. I'm going to pop a list down below of all the tracks that I like of theirs, just to kind of break it down a bit more. But on this one, I love The Sunday Smile, but there's so many different tracks of theirs, so I'm going to pop them all down below. I might even make a playlist just so you can kind of filter your way through and kind of know where to start, because I think sometimes with new records it can be a bit daunting just having an album there and not know which track to turn to. So I'm going to do that below and hope that it helps some of you out there. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's something slightly different, but I thought I'd talk a little bit about my music taste and interests. I know I'm not the most articulate person when it comes to describing sounds, but I promise I'm going to work on it a bit better for next time. If you did enjoy this video, let me know, because maybe I could do another one with 5 more records that I've been enjoying, create more playlists and kind of introduce you to some bands I really like, because I listen to a lot of music and I don't probably talk about it as much as I listen to it. So yeah, hopefully if you enjoyed it I will do that, and if you liked it as well, give it a thumbs up as per normal, and yeah, I will see you next week too. Bye!